time for a guest on FC Bullard.
Really?
And today's guest has performed on the West End and Broadway. But most importantly, Bully, he is the co-chairman of Ashton United. Welcome to FC Bullard, Jonathan Sayer.
Hello, what a pleasure to be here.
What a legend. Thanks so much for coming on.
A pleasure.
It's wicked.
So this is an interview. Well, it's an interview, but it's an interview within an interview. Because,
One
as
of
you
those
know,
Russian dolls.
Yes, exactly like a Russian doll. Not exactly, but
A
similar.
little.
So this is an interview within an interview in the sense that we might be able to offer you a role at
Right,
our
okay.
football club. Which,
You're the director of football and you're the president? Is
That's
that-
absolutely.
Yeah,
I've done my
correct,
research.
Jonathan, yes,
Yeah.
I've done El Presidente.
Yeah, if you don't mind. You are an Olivier award-winning playwright.
Wow.
You run your own theatre company, and we're going to get onto that.
That's levels.
We're going to get onto all of that.
Yeah.
But in 2019, you bought Ashton United with your dad. Okay.
That's awesome, though, isn't it? Like,
I mean, yeah, it's
can I just fire in?
you can do whatever you want. It's your football club. It's your
Why?
you're in charge.
Oh, so two phrase questions. Why Ashton?
Why Ashton? So that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
My granddad played for the club, so he played more games for Ashton United than anyone else in the history.
That's awesome.
And he played for the club when we had our only FA Cup first round proper entry when we first got into the FA Cup.
When was that?
1958, I
Okay.
think, and we've not qualified since. We came really close last season, really close.
Where is Ashton?
Ashton, East of Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah, in Tameside, and so that's why. So I used to go and watch them all the time when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I've always loved non-league football as well, and then when I was out in New York, there was they got promoted, and they basically, I think they ever so slightly stretched their resources a bit in the sense that they had to. You'll find this out as Bullard FC grows.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got ground grading, all that kind of stuff. So they had to spend a fortune on like doing stuff up and making sure they had this there and all that kind of stuff. And then they did a tweet basically just saying we need people to get involved and help out. So I just responded in saying, well, you know, I've got this link to the club and I'd love to be part of it and love to help. So I joined the board and then got more and more involved, and now I'm kind of trapped.
Oh,
and
so
there's
it
nowhere to
happened
go.
gradually.
Yeah, kind of.
Got you.
Yeah, slowly held hostage.
So, was the kind of dream? I mean, so what's the that's the dream. What is the reality like?
Yes.
It's really hard to explain because sometimes it's like the biggest joy in my life, and like it's so much fun, and it's exactly like you'd imagine. Be like, oh my god, I'm living the dream. And then other times it is incredibly stressful. Like it is incredibly expensive. There's a lot of problems. I think that naively, I thought that all my skills that I have working in theatre would neatly transpose to football.
Right.
Because there are some similarities, but
such as?
Can you give us a couple?
I suppose in the sense that it's a big part of like the revenue is about like getting people in to watch.
Yeah.
Like player wise, like it's a bit like actors in the sense that there's you're kind of freelance, and there's lots of people who all want to be part of a team.
Yes.
But when they're not in that team, they're all kind of individuals trying to get into a
Got ya.
team. And I thought, well, there's loads of ways where this is kind of similar, but then there's loads of ways where it's tremendously different.
opposites.
And I'm still kind of learning that. One of them is that, you know, in theatre you've got 8 shows a week, so you've got lots of time to continuously kind of say, we're doing a show tonight, we're doing a show tomorrow night, we're doing that, and you're kind of always in the eye. Whereas with football, you know, you've got Saturdays and Tuesdays, and it's harder as well in the sense that you don't have people saying, oh, I'll just go and catch that. Like in our area, there's about 6 different clubs, all of a similar standard, so we're all kind of competing against each other for what is already quite a small support base.
Got you. You know, when you said you went into the board, in your head, was you always going to be the owner? Or
Not-
did you just come and help the club out at the start?
It really wasn't that kind of thought. I've written a book about this, but like it really
So
wasn't
talk
thought
about
through.
it. Right, okay.
It was just like literally, I was just like, oh, that sounds like such an amazing thing to be part of. And I've always loved football, like always. And like, so my dad was a semi-professional footballer. My granddad was semi-professional, very
Been around
low
it,
level.
good level.
So
yeah.
everyone really, like even my great-granddad. And then I've inherited all of the passion and love, but none of the ability. All the blokes in my family are like massive
Was you any
ginger
good
blokes.
or not?
Oh, awful.
So they
Awful at it. Like, and it frustrates
so
me
they're
so
massive
much.
ginger blokes. What would you say you? Because this is a listen.
For
What would you-
listeners, I would say I'm the opposite of a massive ginger bloke with a big fiery temper. I'm quite small. I'm I'm just about pushing 9 stone, I reckon. I've got like a very slow burn temper. And I'm not athletic. I really wish I was, because in my head I am.
Yeah.
But so I'm, in a way, I was just like, well, this is a chance to be involved in a thing that I absolutely love. I kind of sneak in through the back door, as it were. You know, like, it's so cool just meeting all the players and the managers and like hearing team talks and hearing about how it works, all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to help out, and then helped out a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. The guy who was the chairman at the time kind of said, I don't really want to do this anymore. And kind of said, I think I've given all that I can, like, probably financially, spiritually, in every single way. And then me and my dad said, well, you know, we could kind of do this together, and it'd be a really fun project to take on. We're both from really different worlds, and we've been doing it for 4.5, 5 years now, with mixed success. It must be said, with mixed success.
So how do you? What's like the balance like in terms of your other jobs? How does it kind of?
Because your other job's
out?
massive. How do you get the time? Yeah.
Well, it's a team effort, right? So there's loads of different people. There's not as many people as ideally there should be. Like, just a thing for everyone listening to this, not just Ashton United, but if you've got a local club, get involved. Like, go down, and because they'll be pleased to have you as a spectator. They'll be even more pleased to have you as a volunteer helping out, because you can get really into the heart of a club and you know, really become part of the fabric, like super quick. But it really depends. Like, I try and watch as many games as I can. Like, Zoom helps, you know, so lots of Zoom meetings and stuff. We try and have like a board meeting once a month. I try and get down to training occasionally. Try and like be there as much as I can. Like, I think that as well, you've got to be honest about like what you can actually positively. This is the thing. This is kind of a learning curve I've had, right? You've got to be aware of what you can control, what you can't control, and also just like where my skill set is useful and where it's not. So like, a thing that is not useful is really me being involved in anything that's about the actual football. Like, you know, I could offer my opinion, I could support, but really my job, kind of like theatre, right? The producer's job in my head is to facilitate the project, right? It's to get an act, get the writers, get all the team together, and then facilitate that journey. So I've kind of that's the bit that I think does neatly transpose, in that it is just my job to make sure that it's funded, that it's facilitated, and there's like an environment that people can be like, oh, we can do something here. But my main thing is like doing stuff like this, like writing the book, which like, a lot of the proceeds go to the club, and just trying to kind of bang the drum for the club, get people to hear the name Ashton United as much as possible, and hopefully get them through the turnstiles.
Okay, so in terms of recruitment and hiring and firing managers and things like that, do you kind of just, you know, take a kind of a backward step from that, or are you? Because you know, you're obviously a very intelligent and talented person, but so surely your dad and people around the club would want your input in that sort of thing. So
yeah, I think it's more like the day-to-day of football. Like, it's just like, it's not useful for me to be overly vocal about that. But yeah, like, you know, we've had to change managers and stuff. That's not a thing that I hated doing that. I hated it. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. Worst thing ever. But equally, like, I think that people, it's part of football, right? So maybe like people, again, a bit similar to theatre, right? People are just a bit kind of resilient and used to that idea that like rejection and kind of being moved on is a little bit part of the world. But yeah, like, and it depends on what I'm doing as well. Like, last year I was out in America for half of the season or more. So my like day-to-day involvement is less than at the moment, where I'm able to drive to Ashton quite a lot and come and see all the games and all that kind of stuff. Ironically, the best season we had last season was the season that I was away for most of. So I think the conclusion's been reached that it's quite good when he's away.
The players do feel the heat of the hierarchy up there. I think that's what's happening with England. Stay away, hierarchy. Stay away. Do you still get the same buzz as when you first walked through them turnstiles or the doors as you do now? Is it still there for you, the love and the passion for the club? Oh,
I love it. And like when we score or if we win, like it means so much, because you like, I think the thing that I've struggled with a lot is the sense of responsibility that you have, because you really do feel like you've got none of the control but a lot of the responsibility, or that's how I feel. So if you lose, you feel like, oh, that's on me. But then if you win, you just feel I personally just feel total relief. So I'm trying to train myself to enjoy it a little bit more in that sense.
I suppose it's like a normal non-league football club. Do you still have all these, like, still have any old school like kit men or stuff around the ground that's been there for ages that you see and bump into? It's lovely to have them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's like supporters that have been there
years.
Like, you know, there's a guy called John Milne, for example, who I don't want to say his exact age because I'll get it wrong, but I know it's north of 80, and I think he's been on the board. I think he was the chairman for a little while, and he's still kind of involved on a day-to-day. He'll send me a text.
You keep them, right?
Sends a text, being like, this is my opinion on what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right. There's our president is a guy called Ronnie who turned 90 this year. So there's loads of that. That's why non-league is so important.
That's why I asked the question, because my background is non-league, and whatever non-league club I went to, and then I managed at Leverhead.
Yeah.
You see all these characters.
Yeah.
And you realise I'm not going to be there long, maybe. And maybe the chairmans, but they will be. Yeah. They're like the long serving. They're the respect. You have to respect them and bring them in. And it's so nice to see them. And I pop over Leverhead still sometimes, still see them.
Yeah.
And they're still there, and bits and pieces. Lovely to see. And that doesn't happen in the pro game so much. But non-league, I think, and what you said, fans and local community is very important. You go and support them. Because they'd love it,
Obviously, because you've experienced both, I'm guessing like the pressure of playing in the Premier League is like massive, but like you don't have necessarily the same like individual connection to fans because they're just a massive group of noise. Whereas 100%. When you can see individually,
it's different pressure because it's weird how you bring that up.
That's the guy who mowed the lawn. That's the woman who...
Not that. You're going to see them at the bar.
You're going to be on me.
Literally. You literally can have your pint or whatever you're drinking like that, and you get that. Knock on his shoulder, you go, all right, Ron. Today, Jim, you wasn't. You were actually
today, bully.
Yeah. And they're not them fans that give it up in the stadium with thousands. They're single-handedly come and have a word with you. And it's like I miss that. So the pressure is slightly different, but at the same time, it's still pressure. Still in a pressured environment. I do miss that, but non-league football is nothing like it. Absolutely,
so
love it.
You're in the 7th tier. It's the Northern Premier League, Premier Division. Scarborough Athletic were.
They were in
there.
They were. Yeah, they went up. Lucky Swines 2 seasons ago, something like that.
So did you ever go to the to Scarborough to the?
I did,
Flamingo, is it?
I went there twice. I went there post COVID, and I went there during the lockdown when basically only me, my dad, and 4 other people were allowed in to watch. Really? It was an FA Cup qualifying match. So I've been there twice. Yeah.
I think they get a few more than that, nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
so they were that was my team growing up. I mean, still my team. But
don't we know it?
I don't really, I don't really bang the drum that much. But so they were the first non-league team to get into the Football League.
Right.
Scarborough.
It's a great setup
under Neil Warnock. I mean, it used to be.
Was it under Neil Warnock? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Neil Warnock.
We've got to try and get him on.
Oh,
that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Like talking from a manager's perspective, it'd be lovely to have him on. Yeah. There is another question, not a crunch question, but was there anything that you like from an owner's point of view? Like, is there? Because we're looking at. Like we're owners of a football club now, obviously FC Bullard. So I want to know from you: is there anything that you went in where what you changed massively, or wasn't there anything that you went, "Hang on, I've got to change that"?
We've done like renovation work, so we've like tried to improve the ground.
We haven't got anything to renovate yet.
No. So in many ways, you're fortunate, to be honest. Cause
is it just egg and money?
Yeah, because you've got all the joys of having a club without any of the problems, right?
Yet. Okay.
Like big changes. I'm trying to think. No.
If you're starting your own football club from scratch, what would you say we have to? I
don't like that.
What would you say we have to get in place?
I would say like just a calm attitude, right? Like just calmness, and like maybe like not trying to do things at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Just the acceptance.
Oh, we definitely don't do that.
We definitely don't do that.
We're definitely at snail's pace. Maybe in reverse.
Because I think I thought it'd be really easy. I genuinely thought this is going to be a piece of piss. This is going to be a thing where we find a little extra funding, we get some investors in, and then we'll just go vroom, and it's going to be great, and everyone's going to be like, "What a legend!"
You think like me,
and it's just not like it's just not like been like that at all. I mean, we've had our fair share of bad luck as well, because like the first season was the COVID season, so the first 3 seasons that we had at the club legally don't exist. They've all been expunged. So there's stuff like that. That's frustrating, all that heartache, all that fight and pressure. But then I think, like part of it is just about relaxing, like letting good people just do their jobs, have the space to do their jobs.
What do I say? Do your job.
But that's hard to do when you really care. When you really, really care,
Love
it is
it.
hard to just be like,
Yeah.
I'm
Didn't
not
I?
actually needed here. And
I don't think I've ever heard you say do your job.
Just piss off. I've always said you're director of... I've said in a...
Oh, sorry.
You're
yeah,
director
yeah.
of football. And you said to me, what sort of director you done? No, you're director of football. You show
Nah,
me. You do your
yeah.
job. I've had said that. Don't...
No, yeah.
Let's
yeah.
not have a first argument.
Okay. That's the.
this is the
That's
kit.
the
Yeah,
kit,
yeah,
yeah.
I've come representing you.
All right. Can I see the badge then?
I love it.
There's the badge.
We've got a badge. It's
We have got
a bulldog.
We've got a kit and a badge coming. Well, we have got a badge and a kit. Yeah, it's
Bulldog
gonna be
with a
brilliant.
pirate. It's got an eye patch.
What's the story behind that?
So basically, our very first episode, I wanted like a nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
Side name?
A side name, I called it. I don't know. I just went with the pirate. I just feel like we're going to be a club where we're going to snatch results and we're going to be the underdogs and we're going to be like, aha.
Yeah, like it was
The pirate.
Like Alan Partridge.
That's good. No, like a pirate.
we're gonna come in like loot and we're gonna come and steal
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
We're gonna take
the Robin Hood of
Also,
of football,
yeah.
that
I
kind
went
of vibe.
into one basically, pirates, and the fans loved it.
They loved it.
And we just went with it. And then we've got a badge of the Bulldog, because that's my nickname. And
Yeah.
the badge, I thought the Bulldog was winking, but it's a patch over his eye. So we've got a patch over the Bulldog's eye and a pirate's underneath. It looks class.
Yeah, and it's
lot
good.
better.
It's good. So, but they're the sort of things that we're working through. And
Yeah.
so, have you had any involvement in anything like that in terms of new kit designs and things? Do you get involved in
Kit
all
design,
that?
yeah. Like so the kit's changed a couple of times
Right.
since we've been there. We've kept it. This one's been the most popular
Right.
while we've been here. So we've kept this one for this season.
And you sponsor across the front. Would that be a local firm? Where did you get that?
So
sponsor?
Mischief are the theatre company that I'm one of the creative directors
Ah.
of, and that I'm part of. So just try a little mash of the two worlds
Nice.
there.
Yes.
But then we've got again, really nice thing about non-league is so our manager is a guy called Steve Cunningham now, but before that was a guy called Michael Clegg. And his company, Clean Reach, giving him a little plug. But he was his team sponsored the back of the shirt, and there's loads of different. Like my dad's company sponsors the away shirt, and
Yeah. And I want to ask you a question as well. You mentioned him a few times. What's your dad like?
my dad is the opposite of me. Really, he's quite I'm very emotional. I would say I'm quite a talker. He is a man of very, very few words.
Right, okay.
When he does
talks,
speak them, they make little sense. And he's quite stoic, I would say. Or he likes to think. He definitely likes to
Stoic.
think for
What does
himself.
stoic mean?
Just kind of
Stonewall, like.
yeah,
Is he
win or
aggressive?
loss,
Is he
you treat it
aggressive?
just the same. I think he was in the past,
Love
like
it.
he plays for a couple of other clubs. I know that his career involved an awful lot of sendings off.
Oh,
when he
really?
played. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Old school centre half.
Yeah, centre
Yeah,
half. Yeah,
of course he
apparently
was.
his mantra was "Thou shalt not pass."
We want him in the Pirates. This is what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Fucking now shall not pass. Right here. I love it.
I love that.
But totally different. I'm quite analytical, and he's more kind of instinctive of just you just do that, and not in a he just kind of not barrels into stuff because that sounds offensive, but he just kind of
cool.
trusts his gut.
Who your big rivals?
Big rivals, Curzon Ashton, who are the league above us,
Right.
and then Hyde United, who are in our league. It's such. I mean, I think everyone says this about every league they're in, right? But it is such a tough league, the Northern Premier League, and it's this really weird, because the league above now, National League North, National League South, where Scarborough are in, right? Most of the leagues there are either most of the clubs are either full time or flexi time, and there's a lot of money in them, and they've got some big crowds and stuff. Whereas our league, it's a real mixture.
Now, on FC Bullard, we do ask our guests when they appear if they would like to bring something, an item, something, memorabilia, something that is maybe dear to them, and share it with us. Basically, give us free stuff.
Yep.
What
Have
you
you-
got?
I've got some free stuff.
Have
Good.
you?
Yeah,
Rob, did you? Oh, that's good from you.
that's good,
You
Rob.
see it we ask. I was told you must bring free
Yeah,
goodies.
no, yeah,
That's good,
yeah.
Rob.
That's
Stay
Rob,
aggressive.
Rob, yeah.
I've got
But he didn't text his dad though, did you?
Have you?
I've got for you a copy of my book that
I'll come in it.
Wonderful. Okay.
Because we have to have a little chat about this.
Yeah.
This is
So that's
amazing.
Nowhere to Run. So you can get that in Waterstones.
I think that's so
Get
good.
that on Amazon. You can get that on any bookshop in the UK and in the US. And it's all about my first season running a football club with my dad. And it's called Nowhere to Run.
Wow.
Which sets up the idea that it's...
In an ideal world, we would have read this before you sat there.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but
It's poor from us, really.
we're not going to pretend that we've read it. But
That's okay.
I will read that.
Look, you got some big names here, like reference your book. Peter Kay, Matt Lucas, Daily Mail and Daily Telegraph. They're not people, obviously. But Peter Kay, what's he like?
Peter Kate's such a nice guy, so he comes to see a lot of our shows, and it's a really weird one because, like, growing up in like Manchester, Ashton,
Yeah.
like he was like God when I was a kid,
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
I absolutely looked up to him. So like, big reason why I do what I do. And then he started coming to see our shows with his family, and then we've just kind of stayed in
Brilliant.
touch. So he sorted us tickets out to see his new show when it started at the MEN in Manchester. It's not the old MEN anymore, but in Manchester and at the O2 and stuff, and chilled backstage with him and stuff. Really nice guy. Long
Love
story
it.
short, really, really nice guy. Really, really funny. And like hardly any difference between like him on stage
I
and him
love
off
that.
stage. You know,
Do
he
you
just
love
is.
that?
Yeah.
Like, because you must be around. We always say that, don't
Yeah.
we? Like with commentators, I don't like it when there's a big change. When they're the same and their characters don't change, I really warm to that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Generally, when people are just kind of comfortable in their own skin, aren't they? And they've just achieved and done things, and it's like,
Yeah, I
don't
think
need
it
to
comes
be,
with
don't
that.
need to be someone else. I'm just
Absolutely. So he's like that, is he? That's
Yeah.
class.
Really nice guy and
Brilliant.
really, really funny on
Yeah.
stage and off stage.
Can I ask you about you know, you're an Olivier award-winning playwright. Can you just tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've done?
Yeah, so I co-wrote a show called The Play That Goes Wrong, and a show called Peter Pan Goes Wrong, and a show called Comedy About a Bank Robbery. They're the kind of, I know a couple of others, but they're mainly shows all about a drama group who try to put on a play.
A lot of things going wrong there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the football club now as well.
Don't say that.
But yeah, so that's kind of my day job, and I act in them as well. And that show's Play That Goes Wrong is still celebrates 10 years in the West End in September, and we did the sequel to that, Peter Pan Goes Wrong, out in the US on Broadway with Neil Patrick Harris and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Last
That's
year.
Doogie Howser, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
How I Met Your Mother
massive,
and all
yeah.
kinds. Again, really nice guy.
Was this something that you always wanted to do?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Like ever since I was a little kid, like I used to love like watching Morecambe and Wise and like
yeah.
just all kinds of double acts and comedy and stuff. And yeah, I've always wanted to do that. I went to drama school and kind of did like a proper serious actor training.
Yeah.
But really always came to life when we did anything that was about comedy or about the technicals of comedy and I'm just lucky enough to have managed to do what I've always wanted to do.
I've always wanted to direct a play.
Really? I
Yeah.
wouldn't know where
Really?
to
Yeah.
start with
Do
that.
you think that do you think that someone like myself, who's so I'm a producer,
Yeah.
but no, I am.
No, you're top level.
But no.
Did you
For
just turn to me
listeners,
and cheer
Jimmy's
us, went,
doing a kind
yeah.
of 50-50
But,
handshake.
I know, sorry,
kind of
I've
thing.
just gone off on one here, but I've always thought I love the idea of doing that. How much training would I need to learn that element, that craft,
Fucking
to go
years.
and be able to do it?
To direct, I think each director's different, I suppose. Like, it depends. You need to be a really good communicator. You need to have a really clear vision in your head, and you need to be really collaborative. And then, like, different directors do kind of find a different route in, like, you know,
Yeah.
do something at the Fringe. Take a show to the Edinburgh Fringe.
Okay.
Direct that. That would be a good way to start. Have you been to the Fringe?
I haven't been to
No,
the
but
Fringe.
I know
no.
all about
Oh,
it,
it's
yeah.
brilliant. It's brilliant.
Great place to start. And
That's how we
test
started,
your
yeah.
skills.
Yeah, and you can just, you hire a venue, and, the venue's usually a classroom or a gymnasium or whatever,
Right.
like in its non-Edinburgh Fringe kind of months.
Wow.
And you can just anyone can go and do a show,
What
and it's
about
great.
you? I love Jonathan.
I think he's brilliant.
I think you're a class act.
That's
I didn't
that's very
expect this.
nice. That's very nice. I was quite nervous about coming onto this.
Was you?
Well,
You're not
yeah,
nervous now, though, are you?
I'm calmer now. I'm calm, but like again, just because the whole thing about like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, right.
Like when it comes to
I
talking
know
about,
all
'cause, like,
about that.
but like talking about football, I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Sat with
we're
these
like
guys,
that, though.
talking about football. When the interview started, I felt more like actually I didn't
Yeah.
need to worry.
Oh, I'm all right here. Yeah.
Mate, spot on. Just because
I'm
I
all right
played
here.
it,
I'm
don't mean
all
I know
right
fuck
here.
all about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But no, I really like you. I want to try and get
you.
involved.
Oh, this was the other gift, by the
go
way.
on.
I've got you a shirt.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
That's class.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Go with your
Thank
selection
you
at
so
the back.
much. We will put this up on our set somewhere. It will
that.
get seen.
Love that.
That's class. Thank you.
A pleasure.
That's a
Very much
class
indeed.
touch. Look at that, Jonathan.
Love that. So,
But, yeah,
Don't
any
show
more
the
questions?
back, because the back I tried to iron it this morning. I've burnt a hole through it, I think.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Please, it'd be a nice.
Just a little. Actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
you've ironed that? You've ironed it?
I tried to.
with an
Who
hammer.
irons football
No,
shirts?
I've got no. I
Cold
swapped.
shoe?
No, I swapped. So I've got the one with the iron.
Oh, yes, as well.
Jonathan, show the camera, please.
Brilliant.
He's ironing his
It's
back. Look. It's like a pleated curtain.
I can't fucking give them that.
That's like one of Manan's doilies in the back of it.
It's very nicely gathered in, isn't it? It's lovely.
I
It's like
texted the
it's got
kit man
seamstress
saying,
on
"Can
it.
you send me a new one?" He just texted me back saying,
He's
"We'll
done
see."
Such a gent. He's ironed it. Marked that and thought, I can't give that to them. I'll put this on. They can have the fresh one.
Yeah.
You're a lovely man, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
I'd
That made me
quite
laugh.
like to have that one, wouldn't you? With the iron mark on the back.
Yeah, I
It's a
want
good
that
story,
one.
that.
That's so funny.
Ah, that is brilliant.
Brilliant. While he's here, come, we've got to pepper him. We've got to find out more.
You mentioned imposter syndrome there. I was keen to know when you first went into the club,
Yeah.
when you had to stand in front of managers and
Introduce
players
yourself,
and
yeah.
people, how was that for you?
The going into the changing room,
Yeah.
like the most unpleasant, scary thing.
It's
Like ever, because it's not my environment. Like, and as well, you hear all this stuff about that. That's not the chairman's environment. Like, the owner shouldn't
Yeah.
be in there.
Well, yeah.
And like the first time I went in, it's happened a couple of times where like the manager's been like, "Oh, just pop in before everyone arrives," and I've popped in, then everyone's been sat. So the last time I was in the changing room was like 10 games into the season from last season. I'd popped back. There was a little gap in between our performance schedule in America, and I popped back and I said to the manager, Steve, "Oh, I'll just pop by at kind of like 2:00 and say hello." And he was like, yeah. I'm just coming in the changing room. And I was like, "Well, are you sure? Because I don't want to get in the way." And he was like, no, absolutely fine. And I was like, "I don't want to cause a fuss though." And he was like, "No, you won't. Honestly, just pop in, say hello, and then just pop out. No one will even know you're there." So I came in, and like half of them are getting changed, like some are in the shower. Why they're in the shower? Because the match hasn't started. But, one's being massaged, and I came in, and the manager just went, "All right, sit down. Chair wants to speak to you."
Oh, no.
And then literally with like the most massive like alpha manly hand went, "Right, say some words, chair." And I was just in the middle. And I just remember being like, "Fuck, I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to say at all." And gave the lamest speech ever. And like, have you seen the Welcome to Wrexham documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the bit where, what's he called? Is he called Herbert? Or, no, he's not called Herbert, is he? But like, there's the guy who goes in who says like,
I think I
he's
know.
like a joke writer. That's
Yeah.
his job, like mine. Humphrey,
Yeah.
and Humphrey kind of says, "Hello, I'm Ryan's
Was it like
eyes
that?
and ears."
Was it like that?
And he says, and it's really exciting to be working with you, collaborating on our success on the field and off the field. And all the players are kind of looking like, what? And then like he walks out and the door slams, and then you just hear this massive eruption of laughter. And I'm pretty sure it was similar to that.
But I bet they love playing for you. I bet the players love you being around.
They're all really, really nice.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we get on. I think the first time I ever did it was like we took over, and it was like right at the end of the season. We were basically relegated from the league below. There was 4 games left, and we did a meet the fans thing, which was pretty interesting. It was like a Q&A, and like kind of like you said about just people can just ask you anything in non-league, right? So it was pretty torturous, and to be fair, at points, like some people really enthusiastic about us being there, some people being just like who are these guys? And like I'm also really aware that I look like I'm about 12 as well, so everyone's like, Milky Bar Kids Ball Club, what's going on here?
No,
And so like, and then we went backstage. We went into the changing rooms and met all the players then. And I remember like my dad had a couple of pints for Dutch courage because, as I said, he's not a man of few words. And then so we met everyone. I kind of introduced us. I remember my voice kept breaking, so I was like, "Hello, everyone! It's really nice to be here." And then my dad just went, "We will back you all." And that was it. And then we all looked at him like, "Anything else?" And he was like, "That's it." So I tried to stay out of the changing room now.
Oh, that's class.
I gotta say, like, I totally understand that because I've played at some charity games.
Yes.
And
I'd love to do that.
Oh, well, you should. Yeah, look.
Well, you're part of FC Bullard now. We're going to try and find a role for you after this, interview, because it is an interview. But and we'll get you involved in some charity games. Why not?
I would walk into those dressing rooms when there's ex-players and celebrities and like that, and I just hate it. I just,
but I think you've got to
just wither. And so you got to go in and then you've got to go right. You sort of walk out and then you come back in and go like, oh, right, boys, hey, yeah, having it today, ain't we? Hey.
Yeah, but I suppose I can liken that to if you go on trial. If you go on trial and you're not, but after a while you become part of that team, don't you? It's horrible.
Yeah.
That's like any form of work. If you go into a business office, like any office, and you don't know anyone, it's awkward, isn't it? It's horrible. But the change room becomes...
Yeah, I mean, it's all right with the changing room.
It becomes the greatest form of it is when you're in.
Yeah.
Because of that celebrity game, you didn't know anyone. It's a one-off game.
Yeah.
But when you have a team and you're in it all together, the change room is the best part of it.
But that's the thing that people, when pros say that's the thing they miss, right? It's more the day-to-day.
Absolutely. Like that camaraderie and that, like, getting ready for the game and that, like, that buzzing and then you're around your mates and that's hard. I don't think I'll ever get that back. So
similar to theatre, to be honest. Like before you do a show, like that, I love the rehearsal and the backstage and
before you're going on.
Yeah, and just the
you get them butterflies, don't you?
Yeah, and like the fun you have, like just knowing you've got like a team that are with you.
Absolutely,
is such a nice, nice part of life.
See, I miss that. That's one part I miss. Yeah, that like 10 minutes just before kick-off, you got your team there. I do miss that. It's hard to replace that without a shadow of a doubt.
And the buzz off at the end.
During and I suppose, it's all. I've always said, a lot of people said to me, like, you're Mr. Banter with the boys. Yeah, it is that, but it's that, like, buzz around that 3 o'clock, that performance. Is like...
And, like, I imagine, like, the focus, cause even more so in football, because it's like you've got, like, 7 days sometimes, or 6 days, whatever, build up.
You get exactly.
Everything's geared towards, like, are we going to get the win on a Saturday? And that must be such a...
That's
like, just as a chairman, that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, massive.
To be part of that. But, like, to be on the pitch, that must just be really cool, thinking about the opponent and training. And...
I'll start crying because I don't do it anymore.
How does the buzz compare from doing it, coming off stage, as a production and
good call,
to
a game you
win a game where
like
you won a game. Is it a similar sort of thing? Because when we did Soccer AM, it was live and you finish and it was generally gone all right, so we would come off and we'd be like, oh, it was just.
Had a few shit shows, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
you got to know, you have a few shit games, you have a few shit performances on stage.
It's a long season,
but how does it compare? It's a good question, actually.
Thanks, mate.
I think that, like, being on stage, like, you've got somewhere for all that nervous energy to go.
Yeah,
you'll find this with FC Bullard, right? Like, at the moment, like, you cross the white line or whatever, and you've got all that nerves, the butterflies, or however you feel, you've got a place for it to go, or the camera starts and you go live, and you've got somewhere for it to go. Whereas if, like, as an owner, that goes nowhere. You just sit there or stand there, and all you can do is just you feel that you can't do anything to exercise that feeling. And like either you lose and you feel gutted, or you win. And like, the thing I found is that I feel more of a sense of relief than at the moment. Although last season a lot better. Yes. And I think this season's going to be our year. We were so close to promotion last season.
Really?
We missed out on the playoffs on the last day and got to the final round of the FA Cup.
Wow.
Played Kidderminster at theirs, which are 2 steps above us. And I thought...
Big outfit, Kidderminster.
I thought we battered them first half.
Really?
Yeah, and like I thought we scored and it crossed the line. And I think a few of their players said, it crossed the line.
Really?
And then we just ran out of steam, just fitness, I think. And they scored in like 75 minutes.
Wow. And competing at that level,
we were great.
Makes you proud, right? When you're up in the stands and you're like, oh wow, look at this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I love doing it, but like the thing is not having anywhere for the nerves to go.
We've got to go up there, have a little look. It'd be class now we've had him on. It'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I need to be invited.
We've got corporate hospitality. Our corporate hospitality box or booth is a disused railway carriage.
Oh,
so at one stage it used, and then it's like a porta cabin. It's all been cladded over and stuff, but it used to be at one stage.
When you say railway carriage, is it like LNER or would you say like Orient Express?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know.
No, I'm thinking about the dining within it.
So I suppose like body wise, it's like an old steam train, I imagine. But then food wise, more modern. You know,
That's good.
there's not like tea and China, and it's more like kind of
You ate it then, Rob.
pizza
Yeah.
and pies and that kind of stuff.
Because I'm thinking it'd be nice. Jonathan's come all the way down in to do it, and then later on we could do an FC podcast up at his gaff.
That would be lovely. Like, come and do the podcast
Be class,
either in
wouldn't
the
it?
train carriage or in the bar
Do
or
you
in
know
the
what I mean?
changing
Saying
room.
about I want to do one with Dorkin. We go over there because Mark White
People will be
come
made
on.
up as well. That'd be really exciting.
Yeah, we can do that absolutely later on, and then bit of giving back. It's nice, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There's not a great segue into this, but just one of my favourite stories that's it's not in the book because this happened recently. So the book is basically just a collection of different stories of a lot of it is just the jokes on me, just mistakes I've made. There's a bit where
Is there a lot of them?
there's 250 pages of them, so there's
sound
enough.
like a
There's enough.
character.
There's a bit where the results were so bad and there was a few mistakes made that I hid in the storage unit to try and get away, a bit like Boris Johnson in the fridge years back. I was just like, I couldn't take going back into the kind of the board bit and getting a lot of flack, so I hid in the storage unit and then got found because someone came to the storage unit to find some deep heat.
How long were you in there for?
Just 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Just cooling
Probably
off.
half.
Just cooling off. But one of the stories that isn't in there is at the start of last season, we spent like quite a lot on fixing the pitch.
Yes.
It all cut up. It didn't work. We've had to spend exactly the same amount this season. But we also did loads of stuff to the stands and just kind of just fixed a lot of stuff. And then I left for America, and I got a text them like the night before. It's like a match day WhatsApp. There's all the different volunteers and stuff. And someone said, I keep seeing bees around the back of the stand, so I think we've got like a little beehive or something. Yeah. And I read that, being like, okay. And then someone said, I'll check it out in the morning. And then I went to sleep. Obviously, America were on a different time zone, so England's way ahead. They've had 5 hours already. So I woke up to all these texts, and the top one just said, not special services, but like health and safety disease contamination unit on the way. That's what the WhatsApp said. Then I was like, what? Disease contamination on the way? What the fuck's happened? And the entire back of the stand was a beehive.
No.
There was like a colony of bees.
Was it?
Like literally, like there was all these photos. Like people in hazmat had to come and like they had to find the queen to get rid of. There was like thousands.
How long
of
was
bees.
they there for?
They must have been there for decades. I don't know, a long time, I imagine. Just insane.
Oh God.
That's part of running a football club. Like it's always the things that you don't expect that get you. You know, you do all the prep, you do all the work on getting the players in, recruitment, all that kind of stuff, and then it's a colony of bees that brings you down in the end.
Look, while I've got you here as well, I know you said being calm, and I take that on board. We take that on board, calm, and you're right, at times I'm not calm, but can you give us anything like, I really want to hang me out on something, like anything like practical, or anything like you would say that FC Bullard, new club, owner, director of football that we need?
Just a
get what I'm saying,
just a pearl of wisdom. Just a pearl of wisdom, a little bit of advice, just something that we can take away and ruminate upon.
Nicely put. It's a difficult question, but I need something.
I suppose, like, particularly at our level, where there's not loads of people, there's not always loads of resources. Like just do it, just try it. Like you can, and like the whole thing, like you can improve something, but you can't improve nothing. So just kind of barrel in, I suppose, is the thing that I've learned. Like, don't be too careful. Don't be like, oh God, what if I, like, I suppose just try stuff, and then, because they're not mistakes if you learn from them, right? And you can always change your mind. But I think maybe like the worst thing that can happen is when you don't know what to do in a situation. I think this is like the same with loads of things in life, but like, and then you get a bit like standoffish. Same with like, if you're writing something, if you don't know the answer, you don't try anything and you disappear away from it and you feel yourself getting small. So I suppose like stay big, like just barrel into stuff, and like if you feel the imposter syndrome,
I love
or
it.
you feel just feel without sounding too much like a self-help book, like feel the fear and do it anyway kind of thing. I think
I've really
great
enjoyed
advice.
it. Honestly, I've so enjoyed your company
Brilliant.
today. Thank you so much.
it's been
for
really
coming
fun.
on.
Thank you
Absolutely
very much for
loved it.
being here.
Have you done, honestly?
And how do you think the interview went for you? From your, if you come out here and someone said to you, "How did it go?" What did you say to them?
I'd say that It got better as it went along.
For you?
I didn't. Yeah, for me,
No,
you know,
I'm
I didn't
familiar.
put my strongest foot forward. You know, I came in like you know, you're supposed to dress to impress. I had an iron mark in the back of my shirt.
Yeah.
You
Is that
know,
why you had?
but
Is that why you had your top on over? Yeah.
That's why I'm like glued to the back of the
Yeah.
seat as well. But no, I thought it went pretty well.
Good.
It's been really nice to chat. Really
Thank
nice.
you, mate.
Felt like therapy at some points
Yeah.
as well.
Nice,
Well, that's
It's
always
been
a
really
good.
nice.
I always take that as a compliment.
Okay.
But would you be confident that you would have got the job?
Oh no, I don't think I would. But
Well, I mean, can we?
Well, we've
what is
always
the job? What,
Well,
what
that's-
am
I
I?
was just going to say
This is
that.
it. We
Because
don't-
that's the thing. I
this
don't
is
even
it.
understand what I'm being interviewed
No,
for,
I
which
mean,
would be my critique of
Yeah.
you as a, like.
No, it's flawed.
Normally,
It's-
you know what job
it's-
roughly.
This podcast is fundamentally
Because at one
flawed.
point we'll get you on the pitch in a charity match,
Now, yeah, because
but then also that's not what I
you've
do.
got
so
you've got
There's
enough
so-
jobs as it is. So I
Yeah.
mean,
but there's so many jobs available at FC Bullard. We like to sit you down and probably with this one, I'd like to go away because you've been so good.
pest control.
I'll get them poxy bees. But I would like to go away because you've been so good, and I think we got to use Jonathan wisely
yeah,
because he's obviously got
Yeah.
a great head on his shoulders and been around a lot of things. We've got to go away, get our heads around it, and see where we can get Jonathan involved in FC Bullard because we want you involved some which way or another.
good luck this season, mate.
thank you so
Jonathan.
much. Cheers.
Good luck to Ashton, and thanks so much for coming on.
What a pleasure.
You legend.
Pleasure's all ours.
Love it,
Thank
son.
you.
Top man.
Cheers.